Good morning. Today is Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, and the time is now 9:01. This meeting of the Gilpin County Board of Commissioners is hereby called to order. On behalf of the board, I wish to offer a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a prosperous New Year to all the county employees, to all the citizens and visitors to Gilpin County. There will be 2 opportunities for public or press comment during the meeting today. Comments can be made at the beginning and at the end of the meeting. There will be no opportunity for public or press comment during today's public hearing, since it's a continuation of the December 12th, 2024 public hearing. If you'd like to speak online, please use the raise hand feature on your screen. Please note each comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. County Manager Rears will keep time during the comment periods. If you wish to speak during the public comment, please sign in at the front desk. First item is the agenda review. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, it's come to our attention that we need to add a resolution for GASB 54, which is Governmental Accounting Standards Board Statement. Where would you like that?
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. Aye. Nay.
Where would you like it on the agenda?
I'm going to have resolution 23-125 as the first item on the agenda. Motion passes 3-0. Next item is conflict of interest. So Attorney Brad Benning to make the statement.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make sure that the business before you is done cleanly. And that's what means I want to ask you if you have any conflicts of interest with the matters before you or any, and that's personal or financial. And I will start with Commissioner Berman.
No, I have no conflicts of interest.
Thank you.
I have no conflict of interest.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I have no conflicts of interest.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the public and press comment.
I'm sorry, excuse me,
floor is-
point of order. On our official agenda, we only have public or press comment is to be held after the public or after our resolution hearing.
It also says
Yes.
that this is the regular meeting of the Gilpin County Commissioners. And our regular meeting, we have 2 opportunities for public comment, beginning at the end.
We do unless we have an approved agenda. We just approve the agenda.
Okay, so we will have public comment at the end of the meeting. Next on the agenda, we're seeing no items under the consent agenda. We will go on to the next item, which is resolution 23-125. Resolution to specify Gilpin County's manner of compliance with governmental accounting standards, Board Statement 54 requirements for fund balance and over governmental fund type reporting. Finance Director Joe Allaire will present.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am here to make sure that we are following GASB 54, which requires us to give notice to essentially what we're doing in the finance office when it comes to funds. So the reason I'm here today is to give you notice that we have created a fund and we have ended a fund. So the fund created is the lodging tax fund. This money needed to be put in a separate fund. So last year it was in the general fund. We moved it out. We moved it into a separate fund. So I'm here to serve you notice of the creation of the lodging tax fund, which you have in the 2024 proposed budget. And I am also here to give you notice of the discontinuance of the capital improvement fund. The capital improvement fund was really built for transparency to show everybody what we're doing with capital improvements, but I believe we found a better way to do that. So we will no longer be utilizing the capital improvement fund. So that is the notice I'm here to serve today for GASB 54.
Just for clarification, the previous capital, the transition from the capital improvement fund is now all capital improvement is under the different funds, for example, under the Sheriff's Department or Treasurer's Department. They each have a line item called capital improvement.
Correct. So the capital improvement fund really did create somewhat of a challenge because capital projects need to be recognized where they are, especially in the fund. Like if it takes place in the general fund, the expense is going to be depreciated in the general fund. So the capital improvement fund presented a problem in that nature. So we found a better solution for this.
I think that's good. I think it was misleading to the public to see capital improvement page blank because there were things that were going on over the years.
And the only thing in the capital improvement fund you'll see in the budget this year is the transfer of funds out of that, zeroing that fund balance out. And that transfer of funds goes back to the general fund. So they're being utilized for capital improvement, which was the original intent.
Commissioner Barumi, you have any comments?
No, I understand it's just basically realignment of where the capital outlays or capital funds are going. So that's a good idea for clarity.
Is this policy going to be posted on the website? Or is it going to be incorporated just in case people would like to know more about each fund?
I believe we can post it in the website. I don't think I would post it in the budget. It does have a history in there as well that's been kept obviously before I've got here of different notices that the Board of County Commissioners has been given under GASB 54. So we could post that. I can work on that with Lindsay after the meeting.
But it is also of value to add that to the master policy manual. We have a number of policies that are out there, so it would be something that we could bring back to the board more formally as kind of a point of order throughout the organization when we have policies that it's kept in one central location as it pertains to the various departments and purposes.
Okay, that sounds great. I think that anything that helps people understand government budgeting. Yeah, thank you.
So this policy is not going to be voted on every year unless there's a change in funding process.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
If there's no further conversation or discussion, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve Resolution 23-125. This is a resolution to specify Gilpin County's manner of compliance with Governmental Accounting Standard Board Statement 54 requirements for fund balance and governmental fund type reporting.
I have that. It's resolution 124. Oh,
No, you
that's
would.
125. I'm sorry, you're correct.
Okay. I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nay, motion passes 3-0. The next on the agenda is the public hearing. And Board of County Commissioners will now conduct a public hearing for Resolution 23-124, adopting the 2024 budget. Today is December 19th, 2023, and the time is 9:10 a.m. Finance Director Joe Lair to present.
Good morning. So I would like to present the 2024 budget today. Before I do that, I would just like to say thank you to a couple of people. I'd like to say thank you to County Manager Ray Rears, Sheriff Kevin Armstrong, Lorna Palmona, and Sam and Lindsay, who have all been instrumental in helping us get this budget to the finish line. This has been hours and hours of hard work around a subject that people are very passionate about, and I understand why, and I take this very seriously. Budgets really are the lifeblood of county community. They decide where the money goes, and I think that's really important to people. And I take that very seriously as my job. And I know the county commissioners also take that very seriously. And I'd like to thank the three of you for all of your hard work, all of your due diligence going over this budget backwards and forwards. And I think that this is a conservative budget. I think that this is a budget that did look at almost every line item. I think we took into account what people wanted. Both in the community and in our team members in the county. I believe that with every budget ever passed, not everybody gets everything they want. I wish we had more money, and I think everybody wishes we had more money. We all wish we could do everything. That's not the way budgets work, and hard decisions have to be made every year. This will not be the last year. So I appreciate everybody working together with the understanding that we really are trying to do what's best for the county. So with that, I believe I'm presenting you a balanced, conservative budget that hits the highlights of what you wanted, as far as we have $20 million in reserve fund, which will bring resolutions in the in the new year to ensure that we have the $4 million max and the mitigation efforts and resolutions around the unassigned reserves to sort of assign them and make it more clear to people. This budget really, I spoke the last time we were here, really does highlight the 4 areas, the 4 pillars. We have capital improvements, we have staffing, we have compensation, and then we have fiscal responsibility, and we're conserving reserves in case because we need them. So with that, I believe the budget is, I present it to you as is, and I'm here for any questions you might have about it.
So
I do.
I'm sorry, let me just interrupt for one moment. From the budget that you received earlier and that was on the website, if you could just
Yep.
highlight some of those.
So the budget that you received earlier had expense pie graphs for 2023 and 2024, and the expense pie graph for 2023 should have been the revenue pie graph for 2024. So you've been given that this morning. As well, the lodging tax sheet at the very end had $7,000 of estimated expense in the county fair line, but that line was changed. So that $7,000 is now the estimated expenses for interpretive signage, which we believe we'll spend this year. And the fair is a standalone expense in 2024 of $20,000. Neither of those changes changed the bottom line at all. So those were the 2 changes made this morning.
I have a comment on just the change that you made. I thought the GAP group, the committee had proposed interpretive signs, but also the county has paid for interpretive signs as well. Is this the same amount of money? As far, I thought we received a grant for interpretive signs. And then, but now we're taking them, also adding money from the lodging tax. Is that it?
That's the match for the grant.
So
Oh, so
The
there was a
lodging-
match for the grants that was
Right.
required. And so how much was the amount for the grant?
I don't have that off.
24,000?
Yeah.
Is what I recall.
Under 25,000.
125 for the grant, okay.
In the 2023 budget, the lodging tax was actually housed, the revenue expense was housed under the county manager department. We had to move it statutorily to its own fund to ensure that we were accounting for it correctly. That was part of statute that Mary and Brad had found, I believe, and we moved that for this year. So that $7,000 expense was in the general fund, like it was planned in the general fund for last year, but since we had to move the lodging tax money, that moved as well.
Okay. Okay, so what we have applied or has spent or will spend on interpretive signing is of the $25,000 grant plus the 7,000 match.
That is my understanding.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
That's
you.
correct.
I do have some comments on this, on the change. I noticed on page 7, there was quite a bit of difference in the text. There was a lot of text removed from the original one discussing the reserve funds, fund balances and reserve funds. What you just described on your presentation is not in here. That was removed. Is there a reason why that was removed? Page 7, second paragraph, fund balances and reserves.
I think we just changed it from 8 to 6 months.
And that,
Yeah,
Mhm.
the draft that you received earlier, the only change in the letter from the finance director is the change from the 8 months reserve to the 6 months, which was my error.
if you look at that paragraph, there's nothing about, it only talks about the 3% fiscal spending on this general fund. That's all that's described. That whole section.
I think it might be on an earlier
Is it a
page.
different page?
I think maybe the page number shifted.
Fund accounting? I just skimmed through this second one and I didn't see anything about our discussion of having a 6 months reserve on here.
It is still there.
Could you tell me what page that's on?
We're all looking for it. I know it's in there because I read this last night.
Page 4.
Page 4?
It's on page 4. It's in the second paragraph on page 4. In 2024, the overall fund balance floor of 20 million was established, which reflects a 4 million emergency reserve balance along with an estimated 6 months of operating cost.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Glad it's still in there. Thank
Correct.
you.
Again, the only thing changed from the letter that you had seen previously is the change from the 8 to the 6 months.
And then I had a comment on the full-time equivalent sheet that we received again before the weekend. And see if I can find that sheet.
That, we were given a note that we would be given a corrected one Monday. Did you get a chance to see that one?
I did look at it. I did receive, and I had a question on, if I'm looking at the right page, could you tell me what page that's on, the one that?
16.
16. Item number 16, I had a question about Parks and Recreation. And it's, we haven't adopted the budget yet, but if we do adopt the budget, the Parks and Recreation is being proposed to be open 4 days a week, with the pool open 4 days a week, which is less operating time than this year, 2023. So in 2023, there are 14.4 full-time equivalent employees. And in 2024, there are 16.086 full-time employees. I just find it curious that we're cutting back on the hours, but we're increasing the employees.
So in the notes, you can
You
see
can
that
see.
the justification for that, the board authorized the teen program, which is fully grant funded. And so the net increase in staffing is attributed to the teen program going into Parks and Recreation, when in the 2023, the beginning of 23, that was not the case.
In the beginning of 2023, we did have the teen program was funded.
It was through CSU extension.
So we
and not
just
through Parks
changed
and
the
Recreation.
source of the funding.
No.
No, we
we
changed
moved
the
it.
department it was under.
We did that as a board. We moved it because the grant was not renewed under CSU extension.
Right, it's
We
not under,
agreed as a
it's not
board.
under CSU extension anymore.
We
Now
agreed
it's
that,
being run by the county, but we're still being
Yes.
grant funded.
no, it's not grant funded. We agreed as a board to move it under Parks and Recreation so that it would continue. And that's when,
Okay, well,
Director
that was,
Chisholm.
that's my, my misunderstanding, because I thought we were going to cobble together some kinds of grants to keep that position open.
So it is
It
my,
is grant
it is my understanding, it is grant funded. It was 2 different
Mhm.
grants. One is the tobacco cessation grant. The other one is money from the substance abuse block grant. And that was cobbled together to support the teen
Mhm.
program.
So again, that position is still there. It's not a new position. So how, I don't understand how it can go for, okay. It's confusing and how it can go from 14 full-time equivalents in
because
2023 to 16.
Originally, it was under the CSU extension.
the FTE was, so we
The
moved the
FTE was.
Oh, so the CSU extension should be
So-
less. Is that correct?
No.
No,
Because-
because it was
the-
grant.
Because the teen program at the beginning of 23, January 1st, 23, the teen program was managed by a staff person from from CSU that was paid through the Tony Graham's grant.
CSU.
Yeah, and so did not reflect in our FTE, even though they were here because they were paid through CSU.
Okay, so the previous CSU grant was not reflected and personnel was not reflected in the 2023 budget.
Correct, because they were not county employees.
And that's my question on that.
But in the budget, you can see, I forget the page, you could probably share the page number.
The very next page is 17. It's the new position summary. So it has it has the new positions in Parks and Rec, which is the teen coordinator, the events coordinator, the youth camp, and 2 youth camp aides.
So it shows all the net changes in the staffing from the beginning of 23 to the proposed beginning of 24. So A number of these have already been reviewed and approved by the board. Some are reflected as a budgetary change in the budget for 24. But we're trying to capture a net increase or decrease of staffing moving forward. So it's easier to know any changes in staffing and where those staffing changes are reflected.
Do you have a location here, I guess, a summary on page 16, the summary of the total changes from 2023 full-time equivalent, 157.67 employees, and in 2024 proposed is 163,642 full-time equivalent. And then this description on this page is showing where the increase in personnel is
Where the
located.
changes increase and decrease in those numbers.
And then on page 18, Director Allaire created a new summary for people to see. And that is the grant funded positions, which is just shy of 11 positions that are grant funded,
Okay.
but they have to be included in the.
Okay, so these are on page 17, those are the proposed increases or for 2024, or those are the increases in 2023? Because I know the finance analyst was something that was requested for 2024.
So again, that
We
page
s-
reflects the change from the beginning of the budget approved in 23 to the budget of 24. So it's that year change. So some of them are reflecting changes that have occurred throughout this year in 23. And some of those are reflected in a increase in staffing plan for 24 that are reflected in the budget in 24.
Could you tell me which ones, other than the finance analyst, to propose for 2024?
There's I don't have my list, so I will defer to.
The IT manager, recommended by co-reflection. It really is just everything on that list is kind of,
Except for the Parks and Recreation.
right.
Mhm.
The community engagement officer, which
That was earlier this year.
That
was
was approved in
approved.
2023.
That was
But it's
approved.
not filled, that position's not filled.
It is not currently filled.
no. So the IT manager and the financial analyst are ones that would have to be approved in 2024. The public health director was approved. And the community health supervisor was approved. And the emergency communication supervisor and dispatch.
That would be reflected in the budget, so we haven't opened the position or created the job description yet, so
Would
that's a new
need to be
position that
approved.
The board requested.
The position doesn't need to be approved, just needs to be filled.
So it's just
Or the-
budgeted for 24,
Okay.
and then we will be bringing forward the job description for the position to the board later in 24. And then we will be posting and advertising and filling the position in 24. It's just the cost of the position is reflected in the budget in 24 because it is not a position that was budgeted for 23.
So anything with Parks and Recreation are existing positions that are in 2023.
Everything, I believe, again, Director Allaire has the list, but everything in that list in Parks and Recreation are positions that the board has already authorized. There's nothing new here. It's just carryover of positions into the next year.
Okay.
We're just, again, trying to capture any net shift in positions from the beginning of 23 to the beginning in 24 as part of the budget.
And these budgets are always, especially when you're looking budget to budget, it really is a snapshot in time. Like when the 2023 numbers, if you go on the website and you look at our 2023 budget, like the FTE column is the exact same in 2023. There were changes within 2023, but the budget really does capture that snapshot and the snapshot of what we're doing today.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any discussion?
No, I had sent my things that caught my eye to Director Allaire last night, and those are the two we mentioned earlier.
Commissioner Berman?
No, I'd just like to thank him for his hard work and dedication in getting this done, and also for the rest of the staff as well. I know it was a team effort, and we appreciate the hard work. It did take us quite a few meetings, and we did go over this very thoroughly. So I appreciate everyone's help and patience in terms of doing that.
Well, I wanted to also thank Finance Director Lair for his forthrightness and honesty and his guidance in going through the budget. And I also want to thank the two commissioners for coming to an agreement on the Parks and Recs budget and operations for 2024.
That's a good compromise.
So no further discussion? May I have a motion?
I'd like to move that we adopt Resolution 23-124, a resolution summarizing expenditures and revenues and adopting a budget for Gilpin County, Colorado for the calendar year beginning on the first day of January 2024 and ending on the last day of December 2024.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. Motion passes 2-0.
2-1.
2-1. 2-1. Public hearing is closed at this time. And the time is 9:29. Next on the agenda is the public or press comments. Excuse me, I do want to bring up the upcoming meetings. The upcoming meetings when 2 or more county commissioners may be in attendance is January 4th, 2024, reunification tour at the Recreation Center. Also, the next Board of County Commissioners meeting will be held on January 9th, 2024. Now we are open for public and press comments. It's final opportunity for, again, to note speakers, state their name and address slowly and clearly. Please sign in. On the sign-in sheet, comments are limited to 3 minutes per person, and County Manager Ravier's time. Do we have a list? Thank you.
Kathleen Belfort.
Good morning.
My name is Kathleen Balfour. Address is 392 Tchaikovsky Road. I want to make sure that Mindy Leary and Dawn Ireland hear this because it is going to be a letter to the editor. It's on the slide. This is a letter to the editor. So Dawn Ireland and Mindy Leary of the Mountain Ear will get this in a little bit. So after last Tuesday's commissioners meeting on December 12th, I have felt quite disturbed after our county clerk, Sahari McCormick, made a statement about election deniers and degraded those who may have a different view. I have worked as an election judge since 2020 here in Gilpin County alongside Sahari. I have been praised by our county clerk on my ability to do a great job, grasp all the duties of the job easily, and remain diligent on making sure processes are strictly followed. So with that said, it's considerably disheartening to know that anyone that disagrees with the elections, that they are secure, or questions the electoral process, or that the elections themselves are made out to be liars, bullies, and bad actors. And we are said to be undermining our Constitution. What is truly undermining our Constitution is not acknowledging that the First Amendment applies to everyone, including those with different opinions or lack of trust concerning our elections. I will tell you 4 things that I personally witnessed just this last November election that have raised a caution flag for me and should concern others. And citizens can have legitimate concerns. Number 1, mail ballots being voted by somebody else. A young man came in to vote. I looked him up, said he already voted. He had to vote on a provisional ballot until it was cleared up. Hopefully it was. There were 15,000 undeliverable ballots returned in Colorado in the last election. Those were just the returned ones. How many got thrown out or voted by someone else? I saw at least 1 in our county. 2 people I know registered to vote online. One gentleman said his voter registration said Libertarian and he had registered differently. My daughter was the other person. And when she came in to vote at the courthouse, I pulled up her voter registration and told her she was registered as the Green Party. She said, I did not do that, and I have no idea what that is. She had me change her party affiliation. Number 3, people make mistakes. I know this. I corrected several mistakes that were made by others concerning the locking up of voting machines and the wrong chain of custodies that were signed. Number 4, the LAT, the logic and accuracy test. This is the test before the election that tests the counting and adjudicating machines. These are coded lines on our ballots. They all stand for something, and if any of these lines of text are left out or moved or in a wrong position, the ballot will read wrong when running through the ballot counting machine. There was a line left off of the original ballots that we were using, and it did not catch the errors. Luckily, the Secretary of State caught our missing text, and I was at that.
3 minutes.
They caught our missing text, and I was told that more ballots were ordered. These things can and do happen. Not to mention election audit process that happens after the election. The same software vendor does the audit as does the actual election. My husband, who has 41 years of software development and systems engineering experience, believes a third-party software company should be doing the audits so they could test for any vulnerabilities and to ensure a conflict of interest does not occur, correct? My husband is not a liar. People make mistakes and software and computers get hacked. Those are facts. I've also enclosed a list of cybersecurity threats and hacks just in 2023 alone. I've also, Fire Department of Defense and the Pentagon can get hacked. Anybody can get hacked. I believe in the sanctity of honest and fair elections, just as the county clerks of this state do. That's why I am an election judge. I look forward to working many more elections in this county, including the 3 coming up in 2024. But please, as elected officials, don't intimidate or discourage potential judges, poll watchers, or candidates by this type of derogatory name calling. Gilpin County is a small community. Inspiration and encouragement should be at the forefront if we want to keep the dignity and the respect we all have for each other and that we all deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda,
Michael Morton.
please state your name and address clearly.
My name is Michael Morton. I live at 60 Badger Road here in Blackhawk. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'd like to comment on the days that the community center is open. I'm kind of unofficially representing people who use the freeways and machines, that whole area there, and it's not an insignificant number. I'm not the official leader of these folks, but I've noticed that I've had to change when I go because the place is crowded. The positions, all the stations are filled. The folks that use these facilities don't need certain things. This group I'm talking about, I mean, we don't need any supervision. We're there on our own. We don't need any instruction. We know what we're doing. And I guess we don't need any special classes. You know, because I know we offer classes at the community center. We don't need specific hours. We don't use the pool and the lifeguards. We certainly don't have any arts and crafts. And we don't, I guess you would say, need any organized tournaments. We take very little from the place. We don't need a daycare facility. We just ask for access to the facility. That's all. A few months back, I bought my membership there. I paid my money, and I've heard about this compromise of being open 4 days a week. Right now, it's open 5 days a week, and I've read in the local papers that it used to be open 7 days a week. that's kind of a disturbing trend. I guess I could say that my big ask, the only reason I'm stopping here this morning, is that you consider us, the weightlifters or exercise folks that go to the community center. If you think about it, we are your most cost-effective constituency. We're not taking anything. We just want to go there. It'd be like, I don't want bells and whistles. I just want to play basketball. You know, it doesn't take anything. So I guess I'm just asking that you consider us in your thought processes in this whole procedure that's going on and in your decisions. We don't want any more services. We just want access to the facility. And that's being diminished with every kind of cycle we have here. Thank you for your attention. I know you're busy and I appreciate your attention.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Next, Donna Okray Parman.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Donna Okray Parman, 529 High Point Circle. Thank you, Marie, for not voting for that budget, but also for all of you for working on the budget because we need it done. What this gentleman said is just profound because that's what we at the Gilpin Light have been asking for all along. Just give us what we used to have. We have more money now than ever. I know we have a lot of things to pay for, but that community center serves all people, all ages, for all needs. And I really think that you ladies are making a mistake by bringing this down a day a week from where we are now. And I hope it's not political. I hope it's not you're doing that because it seems like we worked on that budget for many hours and we saw a lot of areas that were pretty egregiously increased for this next budget. And I think if you really would have worked harder at it, you could have taken something from somewhere to at least maintain the 5 days that we have now. And I really hope it's not a political move that you're going to go forward because you both said, Commissioner Hollingsworth, Commissioner Berman, last meeting, that we're really going to have no option except to go back to the voters and try to get funding for the rec center, which is another mill levy or however else you decide to go forward. It's not necessary. We just need to really buckle down and get it right and provide services through that community center, including the fair, everything for the people who pay the money here. And I want to close with a prayer because I woke up this morning and I was burdened. I'm sorry, but for my county because we love this county. We love the people here and the people who are working here. But Lord, please give us the strength to be kind and gentle. And at the same time, be bold to come before the people who are making these choices for our community. The Gilpin Light is trying to get out the word to regular folks who don't normally know. The newspapers are doing their fair share. And Lord, I ask that you will give everyone involved in the government in Gilpin County a commitment to good, to do good. In Jesus' name, amen. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll be going forward in 2024.
Thank you, Donna.
Donna.
Thanks. We saw two people came in. If you wish to speak now, you can, or if not, anyone else come in? Go ahead. Certainly.
So public comment.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is
Good morning, Mayor Fay. We know you.
202 West 6 High Street. Two things. One, I think I was here in February last talking to you, and we were talking about housing. I'd like to hear an update or see an update. Central City again is ready to move forward with the housing authority. Black Hawk is not, but I think if the county and Central City and maybe the Silver Dollar District could create a authority of sorts, I think we could make some movements in 24 that we did not make at all in 23. We do have 5 new homes that will be open here in a couple months, Central City, which is a big change to this environment since I've been here. But so that's the one thing I'd like to know from, I know Ray and Daniel talked a little bit about it, but I don't know where you guys are on it. So
Is it, I'm gonna, no, typically exchange, but we have had discussions. Okay.
Yeah.
It is on our radar. And,
I just want to remind you that I'm anxious to get moving on some substantial stuff beyond Prop 123. I think we can do that in conjunction with some larger scale.
do you have any timeframes of what you're looking at as goals?
Yesterday.
Do you? Okay. Well, can share this. Great.
So that's it. I just want to remind you guys.
Okay, well, I think,
And then,
Mayor, I'll just add, it hasn't been brought to the board yet about the housing authority, the idea of it, and I believe we're planning a work session to talk about housing.
okay, great.
Because we are under the auspices of the Grand County Housing Authority only for housing choice vouchers. And so we're planning to have a more broad discussion about housing authorities.
Perfect. I'm just, I hear from both the businesses, casinos in Central City and in Black Hawk, how dire their need is for local housing for employees.
thank you.
This is a good segue into my second point. We are anticipating the opening of 4 new casinos, maybe 5 in 24, all along our commercial core, which again will require more workforce and more stuff. To that anticipation, you guys being one step closer to the Division of Gaming than I am. And I don't know that I haven't asked, but we have 2 casino applications that are already 24 months into the investigation period. And in a single industry town like Central City where we need those licenses, and we just did our budget, we're at close to a $900,000 shortfall on our budget. Opening those casinos would surely help us. So if there's any soft conversations that you guys can have with the state, with the gaming division, with the division of, what are they?
There's a commission.
You know, so if there's
Yeah,
anyone in I'll be at their meeting on the 21st. Maybe someone from the county can send a letter or come join me. Ask that we not expedite the process, but give those involved in the process the resources they need to get their job done. So those are my 2 things. All right. Thank you. Merry
Great,
Christmas, everyone.
thank you.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Is there anyone online who wishes to speak?
No one online, Madam Chair.
Seeing no one online or in person, public comment is closed, and seeing no further comments, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move that we adjourn today's meeting.
I'll second.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor of adjourning to today's Board of County Commissioners meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Motion to the Board of County Commissioners meeting passes at 9:47. The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all.